Yeah, I think every journalist you met the last week to ask you the question, but I have to ask you too. What was it like, the gig in Cuba?
The gig itself was brilliant.
Yeah.
The gig was amazing because nobody knew any of our songs. We didn't know if there was going to be an audience there, and we arrived on stage and there were 5,000 people there, and they were just all kind of like just really going for it without even knowing really anything about us. So that's kind of like more than we could have expected at that point.
Yeah, I think that's a little crazy. I mean, you go to a country or to a place and you play there, and you know that the people don't know you, but there's a 5,000 crowd. So it's like
that was amazing. That was very gratifying. And I think we're quite cynical people, but the phrase "making a connection" with an audience, we never really use. But I think it was true that night. Kind of a connection was made, so to speak.
And the way to Cuba, how have you felt there? Was it like you had any expectations, or were you nervous, or was it like, okay, let's play a show?
No, I mean, I think we didn't. It'd be silly to have expectations because you're going into the unknown. That's what we wanted. We wanted it to be an adventure, and Cuba's got a lot of things that I really loved. It's got some things that are not so good, but didn't want to have any preconceptions because I think we had to get there to experience it, really. It's one of those countries that you have to visit to have an opinion because the media, especially the American media, is just such a load of rubbish what it says. There's so much bullshit that if you watch the American media, you just think Cuba was a third world country and a communist state that, people just get killed every day. And it's just bullshit. Not. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a country it's really worth making the effort to go because in 10 years' time, it could be just like any other Western holiday destination.
Yeah, I think. And even for the Americans.
Well, that's a good thing. You haven't got any fat Americans moaning about breakfast there at the moment, but in stupid shorts and looking really ugly. But in 5 years' time, God forbid.
All right. You experienced a lot, and I think you have been many places on this planet. Is there any situation which can make you think in a positive way, oh gosh, I can't believe that this is happening right now? I mean, you have played on 31st of December 1999 in the Cuba and Millenium Stadium.
Yeah.
Brilliant, absolute fascinating gig.
Yeah.
Is there anything that can touch you deep? Is it like that?
I think that night did, because I think we all immediately thought of one of the first ever gigs we did in Cardiff. And there were 2 people in the audience when we first played Cardiff. And one of those was Richie's sister, so...
The other one was our manager.
Yeah. So, just actually, kind of like seeing that kind of we were actually playing to 65,000 people that night. It was it was a big jump for us, even in our kind of arrogance, even in our kind of the insanity that's always been in our minds, I don't think we ever realised that we could actually, make that jump from 3 people to 65,000. Yeah. So, I think that kind of we impressed ourselves that night. I think the situation did,
I think you're very down to ground or down on earth and very relaxed and very...
No, we've just felt like megalomaniacs. we felt all powerful.
I think after that gig we realised that we could never do any better than that in terms of scale, in terms of the size. There's no point ever trying to recreate that. It was such a special night that we had to do things differently, really, and the meeting Castro and doing the gig in Cuba was just as special, but in a different way, So I think we realised we couldn't chase ourselves trying to recreate the night in Cardiff because I don't think we ever will.